No, we're excited to be here. We love coming to campus. There's a lot of entrepreneurial energy here on campus, and it's because of what you guys do. It's because of all the events that are happening. We're always very impressed at the ideas that we see from the idea pitches, that we see in the business model competitions, et cetera. Matter of fact, it's not uncommon for Eric and I to leave campus and be driving back to the office to say, man, I'd trade that team. We'll give them Brainstorm, and we'll take this idea and go.
If you guys would like our company a little bit later, let's start the week.
Yeah, well, we're open we like to barter. So, but there's a lot of exciting things. So you're in a good place. I'm glad you're here in this room and part of the lecture series. We see the lineup of folks that come and talk to you. We know lots of those people. They're good friends of ours in many cases, and they've got a lot of value to share. We hope we can bring some value today as well.
Hey, John, would it be appropriate maybe to just get a sense for some of the
I think
who's
so.
in the room?
Yeah.
So. Okay. So I'm curious. Is this mostly undergrads? Is that who we're talking? If you're not an undergrad, raise your hand. Okay.
Oh, there's a seating assignments.
Yeah.
Good.
It's in fact, are MBA students? Is that?
Information systems management.
Okay. Is that the case with that whole group right there in the center? Okay. Cool. Any MBA students? No. Anyone looking to get an MBA eventually? Okay.
Someday. Awesome. What about non-business school majors? Good. A majority, perhaps.
I didn't know that.
What's kind of the weirdest, what surprised me with your major as to, why you might be in this room? What's a kind of way out in left field major? Russian? Okay.
So why are you in this room?
I like entrepreneurship.
You like entrepreneurship? Okay, but you are in the right room. Good. There's chemical engineering. Okay.
Latin American studies.
Latin American studies. Yes. Music? Oh, interesting. There's another hand, I thought. Yes.
Asian studies.
Asian studies. Okay, good.
As a musician, do you expect to be an entrepreneur?
Sometimes.
Some.
I mean, it depends on what I end up doing, but there's a lot of things that all of this business entrepreneurship will come in very useful for whatever I end up doing. So.
Boy, I think that's so cool. Even if you're teaching lessons, that is a business that you're going to own. And to be able to approach that not only as a musician, but also as an entrepreneur will pay dividends. So I think it's really great that we have a lot of non-majors here. It's pretty good.
That's exciting. Get a lot of different ideas and perspectives that way. So,
what number are we on the lecture series, Josh? How many people have you guys heard from?
Three.
Oh, 3.
Number 3.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome. Okay, so maybe there's something new with we share today. We'll try.
Glad, yeah. As long as we're not the end. So we've titled our lecture today, "Getting," what does it say? Getting something from nothing, or from nothing to something, something along those lines. We feel that a lot of you may be contemplating business ideas. We hope you are. Some of you are running a business. Others of you are at least are open to the idea in the future that entrepreneurship may come your way. Oftentimes, when you're starting a new venture, the challenge is you just start with an idea, and you don't have a lot of these other things in place. And even as entrepreneurs, we run into that from time to time as well. So we thought we'd share one of those experiences where we launched a new product not too long ago. I think we got introduced, but I can tell you a little bit more about Brainstorm, and Eric, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about kind of how we have things organized. But our business has been around since 1995. We are an enterprise software training company, so when large organizations deploy new software on their desktops, that can pose quite a challenge for that organization, and that's what our company deals with. We help employees of these organizations get up to speed quickly. So a thing that's really big in our business right now is Windows 8. Windows 8 just launched. There's a lot of organizations that are planning to deploy that, and that if you've seen Windows 8 or if you've used it, you might understand how that transition can cause some pain initially. Well, we address that pain and not only try to address the pain, but try to help provide organizations with more productivity by using the software better. So we have products and services that we sell to address that. We're just headquartered in American Fork. We do have employees across the country and other locations, but our main office is here in American Fork. And we've trained, by now we've trained millions of users on various types of desktop applications. Eric and I we're actually not the founders. We acquired Brainstorm in the early 2000s, around the 2002 timeframe, which was a turnaround opportunity for us. The IT sector was hit very hard, harder than even the more recent economic downturn for that particular sector. So, and that's when we got in. So we thought there was an opportunity there.
So John and I, we've been business partners for about 10 years. As Steve mentioned, we met at Wharton. We both have MBAs out of the Wharton School. I think we study similar things: strategy and entrepreneurship, and then marketing as well. I think you're also marketing. I think we both would sell an MBA.
Not our MBA. We would sell the
Yes.
opportunity to you.
We'll sell you the company. We won't sell the MBA, but we sell the opportunity. It was such a great experience for both of us, and we loved it. As Steve mentioned, John went to Bain. I was involved in some other startups, and then we came together and acquired Brainstorm, as John mentioned. In essence, in our partnership, John, his role is to build it. So he manages all the internal teams that build the products, internal strategy, finance, anything that is internal facing, that's John. And then what I try to do is sell it. And so I manage the business development teams, the marketing teams, and the sales teams. And that's really worked well for our partnership. We have different skill sets, and we're able to bring that to the table. And just a quick note about partnerships. Within entrepreneurial ventures, you'll hear a lot of different opinions about that. If you don't have the right partner, that can be a really, really difficult thing. It's John and I spend more time probably together than in many cases
with anyone else,
families and our spouses. And so it is very much like a marriage in many, many ways. And to exit that can be pretty ugly, just like it would be in a marriage. And so as you're thinking about partnerships, make sure you're selecting the right partner. I was very, very fortunate in that I did select the right partner in John, and we've had a really good go over the last 10 years. We are involved here at the center. Have been since we were students. I remember sitting right here in the same room listening to lectures, while we were undergrads here, and we'll tell you a little bit more about how we're involved at the center. I enjoy motorcycling. John's a baseball guy. He played baseball here at BYU, and his kids played baseball, and we're very competitive with that.
I didn't play very well. Sorry about that. I had a uniform.
So that's a little bit more about who we are.
Before we walk through this product launch that we went through recently, we thought we'd set the stage and give you a little bit of background, a little bit of history. When we first got involved in Brainstorm, it was primarily a Novell training partner. Novell has one desktop application. It's called GroupWise. So we basically were a training company that trained on one product for one software vendor. Okay, and we were the best in the world at it. Okay, but that's what our business was. We mostly sold instructor-led services. That's exactly, when you hear training company, what comes to your mind if someone standing in front of a classroom and teaching? That's what we mostly sold, as well as large manuals. I think Eric brought a sample of a manual. In the old days, this doesn't happen anymore ever. In the old days, big companies would buy a book for every employee. And so you could sell lots and lots. Those are expensive, and you could sell a lot of books that way. And that's what Brainstorm did. It had a very strong market reputation and a terrible logo. That's when we got involved. I think the first day on the job, we had a strategy, obviously, as we acquired the company. We thought it had some good building blocks to leverage, but we obviously wanted to grow it and wanted to take it in some new directions. The first thing we did was we changed the logo. I don't think Eric and I ever worked under that banner necessarily. So that was kind of Brainstorm 1.0. Then we went through, we started to make some of these changes and went through quite a good growth phase. It was really exciting. And we started working out of a basement, and we had just a handful of employees, just all the crazy, stories. We didn't max out credit cards, but otherwise we had all the other entrepreneurial stories that you hear.
We did reduce we did reduce the cost structure in this business by about 75%, and did that in a matter of, what, 3 or 4 months?
Yeah, I
Pretty
think we became
immediately.
profitable in about 60 to 90 days.
And became profitable. So we didn't have very much money, but that's what $300 gets you in the logo, right?
That's right.
Which I don't know about you.
150 from him and 150 from me.
But it was better than that.
So we survived with that for a few years. How we expanded is we kept our footprint in the Novell space, and then leveraged that to move into the Microsoft space. They own the desktop in the corporate world. They own most of the market share, so we started working in that space as well as with Corel under the WordPerfect product line, and became very much their provider of choice. So to give you an idea, with the Novell product, if you buy GroupWise, Brainstorm has a button out of the box in the toolbar. If you go and buy a version of WordPerfect at Best Buy or somewhere, Brainstorm's logo's on the box, and we have samples of solutions inside the box. We're very integrated with these folks. Microsoft, not drastically different. We still sold services. We started to target them and have like train the trainer type services and tips and tricks type services, and started to segment the service market a little bit to try to address specific training needs. And then we changed from people quit buying these books, and we created a product called a Quick Start Card. Still a printing solution. Still one of our most popular products today, actually.
Pretty amazing when you think about it. This, we used to sell these in truckloads. Now we sell these in truckloads, and we'll have, I don't know, our largest order of these have been in literally hundreds of thousands, and organizations will buy them and send them across the organization. But this is a good indicator of where our industry was headed. There was a time when people would sit down and read manuals. Just by a show of hands, anyone going to read this in this day and age?
Hey, you can maybe have it.
Yeah.
There's one person left.
Oh, this was a no, not a
Oh,
no.
okay.
All right, got it. This actually has become much more of a user tool where someone can just quickly look at it, see what they need, and get back to work. So anyway, I got a couple of these. I'll just pass these around if you have any interest. They're actually for Windows 8 and the new version of Office, which just came out
This last week.
last week, I think.
So that was Brainstorm version 2.0, but there were still some areas that there were still some attributes about our business that we didn't like, or that we wanted to still expand on or grow into according to the business plan that we had. As you guys think about your business opportunities, what are some market attributes that you're looking for? Okay, as you're assessing your ideas to see if this is a good idea or not, what are things about the market opportunity are you looking for that says, hey, if it has this, if it has this, if it has this, these are all good things? What do you think? Okay, so an industry that's growing, okay? So not like textbook type industry like we were sort of in for a while. So high growth is a good thing.
Maybe something with fewer players, not a flooded market.
Okay, if the supply is smaller than maybe the demand, if there's smaller, if there's not a lot of competition, you gotta watch out for your competition. Yes.
Maybe just an opportunity to grow within a sector pretty easily.
Okay.
The sector itself is growing, and you can scale your product or service.
You see a position for you in that sector.
So you said two things. Actually, large market potential and scalability. Those are two different things, right? Really both great things to have in business.
Had a question in the back too.
Being able to adapt to those paradigm shift.
Yeah, I like that. I
So
like that.
you have to be nimble often.
And you can see that we're trying to do that, right? We're trying to make it adapt to what the market's actually needing.
Was there a comment in the back corner here too?
Nice.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Just to this adaption thing, in our industry, 80% of learning now is informal. When we first entered the business, I would say it was probably 80% was more formal learning. That is, people wanted classroom training. We go in, we train them, and we bring people in, and we go through classes. Now 80% of it is informal training, which is a huge shift in the marketplace, and we've had to navigate that. So that's good. Anything else that you guys can think of?
No, so as we looked at and contemplated, the Brainstorm 3.0, so to speak, there were some needs and some attributes that 2.0 had that we needed to try to address. One was we were still in a service-oriented business. Service-oriented business can be fine, but there's some attributes about that made us less comfortable given the industry we were in and where the industry was changing and how nimble we needed to be. One is it's low margins, it's tough to scale, very difficult to scale a service business. Some other,
John, just quickly,
yes.
what is what is the benefit of high margins? I mean, besides you make lots of money.
It's hard to get past that thought, I know,
Yeah,
but.
yeah, all I can see are dollar signs. What does it give you in the short term?
More capital to grow with.
More capital to grow with, so that's big. What else?
Gives you like room for an error or like a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of room for error.
That was big for us because we weren't from this industry.
Oh, we were screwing up all the time.
So,
And so it you know, a larger margin gives you a lot more flexibility and staying power in the event that something isn't right.
another attribute in our business was all of our sales were transactional, meaning at the first day of every month, our sales for the month were 0, right? So we got very good at selling and at marketing, but that's a difficult position to be in. We wanted to try to change that. We frankly had low barriers to entry. There's lots and lots of training companies in our industry. It's very fragmented, but there's lots of companies. There's a few barriers. And then also we were still playing on software cycles, meaning people tend to buy training when software's new. When they've been using it for 3 years, they don't buy as much training. So our sales were dependent upon software launches and cycles. Now we started in the 2.0 version. We started playing on many cycles, on a Microsoft cycle and on a Novell cycle and WordPerfect cycle, et cetera. So our revenues can be more consistent, but that's still not a real comfortable place to be in. So we wanted to try to address some of these things, and we got a new logo.
Oh yeah, and that one costs a little bit more than $300.
Yeah, we worked on that one a lot longer.
What do you guys think? It's okay? All right.
So this was our startup. This was our product and a product category to try to address some of those issues.
Meet Lily the Milepost. Lily wants to finish a Microsoft Office task quickly, so she's about to leave the friendly confines of Microsoft's Office to search the web for help with Office when, well, her web search has left her stuck on this pathway which looks like a bunch of mixed together Z's and W's. Far from the straight path to help, this route is filled with lots of forks in the road, literally. Then a friend tells Millie about Brainstorm Quick Help, hundreds of short, to-the-point videos that she can turn to in a snap while she's working inside Microsoft Office. Quick Help is in the right place. It's at Millie's fingertips. It's the right time. The videos run 2 minutes or less. Quick Help gets Millie just the information she needs right where she needs it. So now Millie has more time to do the things she loves, and Quick Help helps her do better work faster, at work and at home. Download Brainstorm Quick Help now.
All right, so we had an idea to develop a software product that would deliver training content. In this case, it's mostly training videos. There's other content as well, but training videos. And then what we did is the software actually embeds an add-in into the software application. So if you're using Word, you're using Outlook, you're using SharePoint or Link or some of these other enterprise type solutions, we have training that's available, right there at the user's fingertips in a consumable way that's the path of least resistance for the user, and also to have very applicable content. So initially, that's just an idea, right? We started kicking around this idea. It was, 2 or 3 of us at the office said, hey, if we could do something like this, sell it on a SaaS type model, get recurring revenue, has some barriers to entry. Not all the small mom and pops can create a product like this because there's some capital investment required, et cetera. Started to address some of those things, some of those concerns that we had, and started to take us into a new direction.
Scalable. That was another big thing with this. High margin, right? Because you've got software, develop it once, and then be able to push it out. It was interesting as we were talking about that. The questions that we had were the same questions that we hear from students. So John and I have the opportunity to mentor students almost weekly here, from BYU. Students who are starting new businesses, and they're coming to us and they're saying, hey, here's the idea. Similar to the idea pitch thing that we just Josh talked about. What do we do now? And we had to kind of go through this same process. Okay, this is not a new company, but it's a huge transformation, and we're trying to adapt to the marketplace. So what do we do now? And the puzzle pieces, you know, they're relatively easy. We've got to prove the concept. We've got to figure out how are we going to fund this thing. We got to make sure that we know what we're doing and that we can actually do it. And then we better get it out to market and ensure that we can sell it. So these are kind of the steps that we were thinking in our head and trying to move forward with. And we'll just take a little bit of time and talk about each one of these.
The Chia Burger.
All right, so just because the Chia Pet is a great product, does that mean the Chia Burger is a good product? Not so much, right? So there was a major error here, in that they didn't prove out this concept. So how do you prove a concept? You know, as you think about the ideas that you might have, how do you prove those out before you start spending all sorts of money? And which, by the way, when you spend money, obviously there's risk of losing that. So before you take on that risk, how do you start proving that concept?
You can talk with people who are in the market.
Okay, awesome. So talking to people, I think, is so important, and lots of people, right? Not just your friends. What's the problem with talking to your friends?
They like you,
Yeah.
they say what you want to hear.
They are going to tell you that you're awesome. That's just what friends do. And don't talk to your mom, because she's
You're even
definitely
more awesome.
Yeah, she's definitely going to tell you that you're awesome. You got to talk to people, and you really have got to solicit feedback. All right, what else?
Develop a low-cost, kind of a minimum viable product that you can
Okay.
give to people that doesn't cost a lot of money up front. Find validation that way.
Okay, so prototype it in some way. So put together a prototype and try to get that out to some folks. That's great. Anything else?
Maybe you just kind of like the question, when you talk to these people, you ask the question, like, would you consume this product, or would you know it's a viable thing to buy? So.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we're talking about here is we're doing a lot of the asking, right? We're talking to people, we're surveying them, we're getting the product in their hands. We're asking people, do you want this? What are we missing? Do you want to see what we're missing in this?
How much you're willing to pay?
Yes.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's a good point. So just because someone says, hey, this is really cool, great. Will you buy it? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's really cool, I'd like to have it, but I'm not going to pay for it, right? That's a big step to get someone to say, yeah, I like it so much, I'm going to buy it. Or I'm going to put my skin in the game.
That's just what I was going to say. Depending on how much your prototype costs, if you can make a few and then try to sell them, see if people are willing to buy them, which is just saying it's a great idea. Like how much, and if they will buy them, how much will they pay for them?
Right.
So that's a great indicator.
It's good. No, that's perfect. So what you want to do when you're thinking about the proof of concept is you want to get all the feedback you can get, but then you want to make sure that your customers are committed. Let me just see what we've got here. You know, as we talk about some of the things that people can commit, money obviously is one, right? They either buy it or they invest in it, or you know, any number of ways you get money. Maybe time. Maybe you have customers that will spend time with you to actually help develop the product. Beta customers, we talked about that. Get people to pre-order. You know, you see that a lot on Amazon, where you know someone's written a book or they're writing a book, and you get those pre-orders coming through. Well, that's a commitment. All those things are commitments, which help you really prove out the concept. Not just from yeah, I like this, but no, I'm actually committed as a customer. I'm actually committed to buy this if it comes to market.
Yeah, and that's an important distinction. It's good to talk to people and good to get their input, but when you can get them to incur some type of cost, right, whether it's financial or with their time, then now you're getting better data, right, as to how they perceive the value and how they of your concept.
So how do we do that, John, with Quick Help?
Well, we did talk to customers, we talked to partners, and we're tried to, you know, we started working on these different pieces. So we were able to talk to some of our large customers and try to get them to commit to see what their level of commitment might be. And then we also, for this particular case, went to Microsoft, whom we partner with very closely, and to see, you know, what they thought about it and what kind of support that they might be able to lend to us developing a product like this.
One of the things that when we did that, one of the things that we were able to get from Microsoft is they said, you know what, this is such a great product. We would like to open up some marketing space for you. And that was a commitment on their part. We've got this great marketing space. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But we've got this great marketing space, great campaign. But if we open that up to you, we actually need you to move pretty quickly. And so it actually changed that type of feedback, and that commitment changed our product schedule for how quickly we could get this out the door. All right. Anything else on
No,
proof
I
of
think
concept?
that's it on proof of concept.
Okay.
After that, once we felt like, hey, you know what, we're not the only crazy people in the room that think this is a good idea, that we can get other people to commit and you know, invest in some way in this concept. Funding was you know, very soon an issue, and I think anybody in here have any funding concerns with their product or with their idea, their business? Anybody think they might need some funding? 2 people, 3, a few more? Yeah, I mean, it comes up right away. It's not you know, what your business is all about, but eventually, in some form or fashion, funding comes up right away. We're kind of bootstrap guys. That's just our philosophy. We just have a personal preference for being those type of entrepreneurs. And so, you know, funding, and we needed, you know, at least $1 million to kind of get this thing off the ground in a 1.0 version. And so, you know, that's kind of tricky. So, what are some sources of funding? What do we know about that? Who can we go talk to maybe help us fund this thing?
Shark Tank.
Okay, Shark Tank. That's right. So Shark Tank or something like that, because that's going to be fun for everyone. What else?
Angel investment, venture capital.
Okay, venture capitalists maybe.
Angels and
Angels. Okay, yeah,
That's
angels
good.
are probably good for this type of stage.
Friends,
Potentially.
family, fools.
Friends, families, and
family,
fools. Yeah, the 3 Fs. Absolutely. What else?
American Express, Visa.
Yeah, max the credit cards. I already told you we haven't done that. But yeah, some folks will max the credit cards.
It's a little bit harder though when you're looking for this kind of coin, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, my limit's not quite there.
So, and they want it back very quickly. Yeah,
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 that's probably
that's
a
right.
bigger problem.
We're not recommending or condoning credit card financing for your business, though we've seen it. Any other ideas? Yes.
Refinancing a house or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you can refinance your house, maybe you've got equity in an asset that you can put into the business. I've seen that. Yes.
How about a small business loan?
Small business loan. Perhaps if our other operations were such to qualify for that type of financing, then debt financing is available. For startups, a lot of times the debt financing is not always a viable option if you just have an idea.
John, there's one here, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I just heard that Microsoft gave $2 billion to Dell
Yes.
to finance their business, so I don't go to Microsoft and ask for a loan.
That
Maybe.
would be
Name your
good.
company Dell and see if you can get, yeah. So go to Microsoft, but go to Microsoft or go to a partner.
Yeah.
So the concept is, try to find, is there anyone else that has a vested interest in this product potentially existing, right? Or your business existing? Is there anyone else? Is there a vendor? Is there a supplier? Is there you know, who could potentially, you know, have a vested interest in this? In our Quick Start card business, the products, the printed products we passed around, we've gone to that supplier before. That we're a significant customer for them, and we've gone to them before for particular orders and said, hey, can you know, we want to do this thing, and we don't really want to put all of our money in it. Can you know, do you want to put some in as well? And then, you know, we'll run our business. We'll give you all the orders, et cetera, you know, for this particular product line. And they had an interest in doing that. And it was a win-win situation. In this case, what we did is I said, I know I work over finance, as Eric said, but we gave it the task to his team and said, why don't you go sell this idea and get a customer to pay for it? And because we kind of need cash, let's see if they'll prepay for it. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? And so that's what his team went to the task of doing, and just sell. We just sold our way through it. We needed that much money, and we went to a very large Fortune 10 company that's a client of ours, and we kind of pitched them the idea. I think we were discussing this morning. It's been a year or two since we did this. We were discussing this morning. I think we sent them PowerPoint slides with mock-ups of a drawing.
It was honestly a proof of concept kind of situation.
There was no prototype.
This is what this is going to look like. And they were excited about it. They liked it. They saw our vision. and they said, we need it. And we'll buy it. And we'll pay you for it now. You just deliver it to us. And that was pretty cool. We got what we needed, and we were able to begin development on it. Now, that is someone that's got their skin in the game, right, as far as proof of concept. As soon as they were willing to do that, we knew we had something that was going to be a pretty big deal. And that was pretty exciting. And they were great. Now, what's the benefit to them in doing that for us? What do you think we gave them? Okay, so we gave them a product, right? So that's good.
They were the first in the market to have it as well.
First in the market, so if it's a strategic advantage to them, they had that. So that was good. How do you think their pricing looked?
Great.
Discounted.
Yeah, good price.
Right.
What about when they said, hey, can your product maybe do this too? They had influence over the design and the development of the product to meet their specific needs to a certain degree. And actually, we were trying to listen to the market to help still mold and kind of steer the product. So there was great input.
Your customers can be some of the most collaborative people that you work with. The reason being is because, again, they're the ones that are going to be buying this thing. If you're developing to their specs, you probably have got a pretty good product at the end of the game. So listen to your customers, and if you can go about it this way, it really worked well for us.
So all of a sudden, we proved our concept. We've got the funding down. Our next building block is the know-how. Right? Now, here's the thing. We just found out not too long ago. Is this the technology entrepreneurship? Okay, we're not tech guys. I don't know if you caught that in our introductions, in our bios. I know. Don't tell anybody. No, but we're not really tech guys. And so we saw the need, right? We're business guys. We could see what our Brainstorm 3.0 needed and how a product like this can satisfy it, but I don't really do coding. They don't actually even let me in that room. So we didn't know how to do this. Not only that, not only were we not software development guys, if we're honest with ourselves at the time, we weren't software salespeople either. We weren't software business people. We hadn't sold software before, and now we all of a sudden are in a software business.
Enterprise software sales, which is way different.
Having to sell to the needs of Fortune companies. Yes.
So, are you guys saying that you got this proof of concept, you sold a bunch of companies on it without having anybody that could actually put it together on your team yet?
Not nobody. Yeah.
No. We to be clear, we sold it to one client, and one that knew that they were going to be helping in the funding of the product. We knew we were on the right track. It wasn't like we were not working on this previous of that engagement. We were. But when that deal went through, the funding allowed us to go and solidify this deal right here. And go ahead.
So the model you basically pursued then was selling your concept, and then using the money provided by the person you were selling it to hire, to get everything thrown together that you needed to make it happen in the way they wanted it to happen.
Correct.
Sure.
So they had the input. We were able to collaborate with them, and we had a lead time. It wasn't like, okay, boom, you got to deliver this now.
And our customer is fully aware of all of the whole situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not we weren't trying to pull the wool over their eyes. We told them exactly what the situation was, and yeah, and that $1 million. I mean, it cost $1 million because it costs man hours. That's not. I mean, we need to hire developers and people. Actually, the content team is very large and significant to build all the content to go in the software.
To your broader question, and that is selling vaporware. That is not a good thing to do. And we talk about that in our organization because of course this product's moving along. It's it's changing. We got new features that are coming out. But as I work with the sales team and the external facing teams, that is not something we do. This was a different environment because of the visibility and the transparency that we had. It just allowed us to get into the game without trying to fund it in other ways.
I'm just really impressed. It seems like a very stable entrepreneurial model.
It worked pretty well for us. Yeah. So.
But this part was exciting. Getting the know-how. We were able to find some former Microsoft programmers that had worked on the Office products, so knew that product very well. And as we wanted to integrate with that product, we felt that was very key. We were able to basically bring them in, paint the vision for them, help them, they would then kind of be able to architect the product and also bring a lot of more value to the process. So they were able to do a few things from a technology standpoint that was very impressive and
was unique in the marketplace.
Yeah.
No one knew how to do it. Because we pulled the right resources, they were able to do it because they had been on the teams that helped develop the things that we were coding against.
We also brought in folks that knew how to sell software, knew how to position it, and this may be a little bit difficult to tell, but this is a screenshot this is office.com, the website, and this is a spot that Brainstorm was able to have to kind of promote the product, and it was Eric's team getting the wheels sort of turning there and starting to begin that opportunity, but then bringing in some folks that really knew how to do this and knew how to position the value, put the value proposition to a vendor like Microsoft to market and promote a product like ours. So we built the team. So the point that I think we wanted to share there is you may be looking at an opportunity where you're not the guy either, right? Maybe you're not the practitioner and the specialist, but that's okay. What you need to be is the entrepreneur, right? You need to be the person that can see the vision, put the team working towards that vision and assemble the pieces. The last step was marketing.
To that point, you're not going to be the guy that can do everything. Has everybody read E-Myth? I think that used to be a requirement for this class, actually. Is that still the case? No? Has anyone not? Who's read E-Myth? Okay. Oh, it's a great book for entrepreneurs. It talks about the manager and the entrepreneur and the technician. Those people sitting probably in this room, you're entrepreneurs. You'll be entrepreneurs. It's great to surround yourself by the technicians, those that can actually design the software and the things that you're doing. And then management as well. People that can actually manage the project. Those are good people that you need to have on the team. You can play the role of the entrepreneur. You don't need to be all things. But the reality is you're not going to be all things. It's just too hard to do. All right, so the next thing we had to do is begin going to market with this thing. All right, so we've got one client. That's good. One of the first things you want to do with that client is make sure that things go well and then leverage that, right? Especially a great client like we had that had a good name. To the extent that you can, you want to leverage that. But one of the things that we've always believed in is leveraging, the network that we have. Now, if I say networking to you guys, do you guys like networking? Is that something you like, or is it something that not so fun? I don't know. Any comments about networking? When I think about, yeah.
I just think it feels fake a lot of times.
Yeah.
Unless you can get past the whole, I'm trying to use you to get a job.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. And when I think about it, it takes me back to my business school days. A lot of wine and cheese, parties, and people coming in that don't care about you, and when it comes right down to it, you may or may not care that much about them. And it's just not that comfortable. We've always looked at networking a little bit differently. Networking doesn't need to be painful and doesn't need to be hard. You guys are involved in great networks already. There's so many great alum from BYU. You guys are in touch with neighbors and other people. Maybe your parents have networks that you can leverage. And what you can do is you can just begin to develop friendships with those people. People do business with people that they know, like, and then trust. Usually happens in that order. What does that sound like, though, when I say, here's a guy that I know, like, and trust? What's another word for that person? What? Friend, right? So, we've always just tried to create great friendships and enjoy people for who they are, try to appreciate the differences, and just become great friends with them. And that really has allowed us to do a lot of great things. We literally work with hundreds of people at Microsoft. That relationship came from one relationship, actually, and it was a person that I knew. Actually, John and I
we kind of didn't know.
We didn't
actually
know him very well, but he went to business school with us, and he happened to be an entrepreneur, a failed entrepreneur, but really wrote a great book about it and ended up at Microsoft. And I called him up and I said, John, you don't know me, but this is who we are, and this is how we're connected, we overlap, etc. Can I just come up and spend a few minutes with you? I'm going to fly out there. I'll take you to lunch, and can you help me navigate the waters of Microsoft. And before we knew it, we were in touch with lots and lots of people, and we just continued to develop that network out. But to be able to develop that network, you really gotta have a win-win situation, right? And you've got to really care about these people like friends, and you got to develop friendships. And for me, it's all about friendships first, business second, and that allows us to do some great things. So we leverage the network, and we begin to do all sorts of fun marketing through Microsoft and through other channels that we have.
Such as the website that we showed you. I think we're on our last minute, perhaps. So we'll end here with our performance message. And as you kind of noted, we sort of lined all these things up, and we still didn't have a product, right? We had a due date. We had a lot of money from somebody. We had hired people, et cetera. We didn't have a product, but we had to deliver. And actually, it was pretty difficult. It was pretty difficult. It ended up, there's a long version of the story, but the short version is we had an end-of-year due date, which gave us about 10 months to deliver a finished product to this customer. We were running a little bit behind schedule, but then they called us in November, middle of November, and said we actually needed December 7th. And they said, which was really difficult now. And they said, we realize that's not what we had agreed to. We'll take whatever you have on December 7th, but it would be great if we could have the finished product. And we told them we'd get them the finished product because they really needed it. The partial product wasn't gonna fulfill their needs. So
and that's our reputation
at
Brainstorm.
And we wanted them to succeed. And so we hired. The software coding was done, and we were on the content stage, which is a lot less technical. We hired 40 people in about 48 hours, none whom we knew. They all were references from people at Brainstorm, except three guys that showed up that we still don't know really where they came from, but we hired them. They showed up and said, hey, I heard you guys were hiring, and we were like, okay, cool, like how did, I didn't want them to steal our stuff, right? So how do we know you? And they said a story, and I was like, did you know who they are? Did you get that? But they were good workers, and so we hired them, and just kept an eye on everybody for a while. But we worked around the clock shifts for about 7 or 8 days. I think Eric and I and a few other team members as well went to work Monday morning. I think we showered Wednesday afternoon, and eventually went right back to work, and eventually finished on a Friday, and just really cranked it out. It was an awesome experience. We were able to deliver the product on time. But you all, as you will soon be BYU alumni, you're being taught ways to do business here in terms of principles, and live up to your commitments. And it's not only good because that's who you are, but it's a great way to do business. And the only way that we could do what we did beforehand, sell $1 million and get prepaid and line up these people and have people come work for us, and that on the product that didn't exist, and in a line of business that we didn't know much about, et cetera, is because they knew that we would be good for it. They knew that we would try our very best to deliver. And so do business that way. You'll have a lot of success if you undercommit and over-deliver. So this is kind of a summary slide.
And then just one more thing before we leave. Since we're part of AFO and part of the center here, I just want to put a little plug into what the center does. This center for entrepreneurship is just such an incredible center. And the entrepreneurial programs here are made possible by awesome donors, awesome faculty, like Dr. Little, and awesome students. And there's a way that you guys can get involved in the center, what we're doing. There's people like us that are offering mentoring. You can come and visit with us, every week if you want. And there's just some great programs. So with the center, you can be involved as a student, and then you can be involved, for the rest of your life. We've got a little call to action here, and that is if you want to stay connected to what the Center for Entrepreneurship is doing, vis-a-vis what we're doing as associate founders, then go to LinkedIn and connect to the Young Entrepreneur Network of BYU alumni. You don't need to be an entrepreneur to be a part of that, but if you want to be involved, we do activities on a regular basis. We'll invite you guys out, and you can network with other great entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs, or just people that are interested in entrepreneurship. It really is a great program, and it I can't say enough about the Center for Entrepreneurship. I think, the ranking, where are we ranked, Josh?
I think we're 4th undergrad and 7th.
4th undergrad in the nation, 7th graduate program. That's pretty awesome. And those have been significant strides in those rankings over the last several years. So, and it's because of great students like yourself. So join with us, and there's no cost to any of this. Just join us at the Young Entrepreneur Network BYU. I think that's it.
Thanks for having us.